Steve Jobs would sort of explain why things were the way they were and what the benefits were and what they were trying to achieve. And obviously, he didn't go into all the details as to what technology he chose or not, but he showed you the benefits in a very clear way.
You're about to hear a conversation between two agency owners who collectively have over 30 years of experience helping brands sell millions of dollars. Enjoy the episode.
I was very interested about the shoe. It's called Passion Shoes. No, Passion Footwear. And there were a lot of things that I really liked. I liked how, first of all, it was get on my feet. I don't know how on Instagram, but I was very interested because he was, the CEO or, founder is pretty much a spokesperson of the brand. It's still a small brand, but the fact that the shoe, what you need to do is just kind of change the heel of the shoe to make it, a little bit more fancy, a little bit more comfortable. And of course, he sells you the whole concept of like, you only now need one shoe because by one shoe, you now have a three-in-one shoe. Uh, but I think let's just look in the perspective of how cool it is for since you ever went out on a date or a quinceañera or any party that involves high heels, there's a point of the dance floor that the girl decides to take off their shoes and pretty much dance either barefoot or have or the ones that are better prepared to say that they bring some shoes in their bag in their purse or in their car or something like that. So as a person who has danced many times on the dance floor, I thought that was really cool that you can actually just with a click it becomes a transformer shoe. I also love Optimus Prime and everything that deals with Transformers, so that's really really cool. um I like the fact that the owner pretty much is the one who explains the product, and she's very, of course, not only the familiarity of the product, but the story of the product is pretty simple. It's like I went out with my friends, we went to a party, took off my shoes, started barefooted, somebody stepped on my toe and broke my toe, so there has to be a better way, and they came up with this technology to get it done. Um, So then here comes the pricing of this product. The product is I think like the new sandals, $170. I showed it to Valerie. Valerie said, "Oh, these are pretty cool." So in a way, this is not like I wouldn't use the shoe, but I know that somebody that would probably use shoes. He said, "Well, the shoe is pretty expensive," and then I'm like, "Well, but you're justifying it as a 3 for 1." And she's like, "Well, in a way, no, in a way, yes. Like I need to see somebody else wearing the shoe, give me the sign of approval before I can put that into my hand just because of the price point is so expensive." But then at the same time, anytime that there is something that is new in tech or new revolutionary or you are the first one in the market, you have to price yourself much higher than the competition. Also, the fact that it is a removable shoe. If you see that she explains, okay, this has a three lock mechanism in order for it not to fall. Um, you still have to be like, well, how good is this mechanism? How good is this shoe going to be? So I think that the pricing also gives you this certainty that this is done with quality, and that's why you can justify the pricing of being you can buy yourself two pairs of shoes for the price of one of those shoes. Um, there are some things that she tries to do the sell point. It's like, well, if you buy, one pair of shoe, this also accommodates your closet. So you don't have to have so many pairs of shoes. You can just, change the heel and make it this and make it that. If you want to wear stilettos, if you want to change it, or you can also pack one pair of shoes and three heels, and then you have your day to day, your work shoe, and your travel shoe. And I was just like, okay, you sold it to me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that the concept here is marketing and pricing.
Yeah.
Definitely feel that she can sell the product for a premium just because it is, first market entry. So there's no other. There might be other shoes that are the same, but again, this is the first time that I have encountered this shoe and this brand. Um, love the fact that the we have spoken before about, well, you might be the president or CEO of a company, can you not feel comfortable, or you're not the right person to be the face of the company. I
Yeah.
think that it also works well for her,
Mhm.
to be. She does a great job, as
She's
a
a bit of a
spokesperson.
personality. Yeah, she's a bit of a personality. Yeah.
Correct. So I don't know. I just thought it was a very interesting first time that in a while that I see a product in Instagram that I was just like, oh, really,
This
really,
makes
really
sense.
cool.
Yeah. I actually think there's so let's break it down in terms of marketing. I think what you're mentioning is an obvious point, and I think it's a good one, which is there's a face to the brand, right? There's someone explaining it and telling you about it, and it's not just an ad, right? It's not like your typical, um, I don't know, car commercial where it's the car on a hill with the water in the background. Um, so there's someone there. So I think one of the lessons I think we can learn from this is, it sort of pays to put yourself out there, whether it's the founder or whether it's a product person or whoever it is. Like seeing a face explaining things sort of makes it easier to digest. I think that's one thing, and
I
then the
also
other.
think that the platform that I saw, which is Instagram, also it's a good place for,
For
hi,
that kind.
this is,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
for the
for that kind of thing.
testimonials that I'll add.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing. The other thing that I thought was interesting is it's sort of like an infomercial if you think about it, right? It's like
Yeah,
that traditional
big time.
infomercial at 2 a.m. Yeah, it's sort of similar in that way. And I think it's an interesting format because I think the product fits in that format, and I think people would have to understand whether the product fits in something like that or not, or their service. But I thought it was interesting that it's like an infomercial and that it sort of explains the logic behind everything. So it's not just like these are new shoes and you can clip on and off, the heel clips on and off. It's that this is what happened to me. This is a sort of the story behind it. We noticed that, you might think it's unstable, but check this out. It's got 3 locks and blah, blah, blah. And then this is super flexible. Like they're explaining the logic behind all the benefits. And I think that that's something that sometimes in marketing people miss, which is we need to understand why it is you chose certain things within your product or service and why that works. And even us, like at Castleberry, we in our marketing sometimes we lack that. We not just in our marketing, but in our sales pitch as well. Like, and we're being more aware of that now, but it's not always easy to do because you're so involved in the product and the service that you forget that you need to explain logically why you chose those different options, right? Steve
The
Jobs
con-
used to, remember those talks at Macworld or whatever it's called, the conference. Like Steve Jobs would sort of explain, why things were the way they were and what sort of the benefits were and what they were trying to achieve. And obviously, he didn't go into all the details as to what technology he chose or not, but he showed you the benefits in a clear way, right?
the whole concept of the infomercial, like, there must be a better way, that whole thing about, like, this is the problem, this is the situation, this is what we encounter. There must be a better way. Introducing X, and of course,
Mhm.
it does that on the general of, like, hey, most people have seen the whole situation about changing the big shoe to a little shoe in a party, but then she also explains other benefits of it.
Yeah. And I think that's like the initial video and that's perfect. And then she can probably do like different scenarios, right? The person at the party and the problem and solution. But I think she did a really good job of being the personality behind the brand, of keeping you entertained. If you see the video, it really cuts and it comes back to like strong points every time. It's not there's never a sort of a dull moment where you're like, okay, I'm sick of this. It's always like, then you can do this and then you can do that and this is how you match this and this is how you change the heel out. And so I thought it was like very engaging. I think that's another lesson that I think marketers can take from that is if you're making a video and it's sort of like an infomercial, don't make it like the traditional infomercial where it's black and white and then, that's the problem is black and white, the solution is in color, and then you go through this long ordeal. This is social media, right? Instagram, um, YouTube, whatever it is, but it's very, very like short and to the point, and it really sort of shows you all the benefits around the product, but it's quick. It's not something that takes forever.
I also like the fact that she went into like it targeted me. The shoe didn't target me, but it targeted a person like me, which is a practicality of the product. You know, like she pretty much said, like this is just it's beautiful, it's fashionable, but it's practical. It's practical not only because of these, but also because if you're traveling, all you need to do is just one pair of shoes. It's practical because so a person who probably is into really big fashion maybe might see this and it's like, well, this is not for me. But a person who's looking for just that practicality, just gonna say, okay, this is a completely differentiated than any other shoe that I have in the market.
What I think though is, I don't know what you think, but she's bound to have competition at some point. She probably already has. We just don't know the market well enough. Like you and me have no idea. Um, so there's probably already competition out there. Um, and it's bound to happen. And maybe the big brands will adapt and launch, a version of the shoe that's like that. So I think the only thing that's sort of missing from that is the building of the brand. Like if you were to ask me what's the name of the shoe, or I would have no idea, right?
Well,
Um,
before jumping into marketing in motion, I kind of just did an overall research on it. So fashion footwear, they did the pitch at Shark Tank. Yes, I did not know this. I do like the show Shark Tank, but I'm not a Shark Tank enthusiast, obsessed person who watches Shark
uh,
Tank every week. So I didn't know about that. So I don't know if I don't know if a shark did select them or not, but the fact that they did have all those views out there in the market is great. I agree with you that and the brand is done well. If you go to the website, it does have the get 10% off new sign subscribe to this and all the stuff. This is the new collection, this is the new fashion. Our mission and vision is something like, empowering to fashion. Like they definitely did their market. If you do the marketing listing on branding, they pretty much tick everything. So they most have somebody professionally doing that. Maybe a shark, maybe not, but they do have a very well established brand.
yeah,
The thing is, it is what you're saying. Like, what stops right now Skechers, which is like the number one brand of shoes in the world. Let's say in the United States, which I'm pretty sure, because they do sell. What I mean this is because they sell all types of shoes. It's not like Nike that is pretty much wear athletic footwear and maybe casual. No, this is Skechers is for everybody. Well, what stops the Skechers from saying, you know what, love it? I can have R&D team get on it 6 months later, and then all of a sudden you can buy yourself for $50 rather than 170 the same shoe that has this little attachment and all that stuff, and it's guaranteed with that. Um, I agree with you. I just feel that right now it is the time where probably the fact that I saw it on an Instagram advertisement, there has to be some sort of big budget and big money being pushed behind it, so
yeah,
that hey, we're the
yeah,
first one, we're out.
yeah.
Definitely there's be some
And
money
and I
behind it.
guess and I guess it all depends also on like whether or not they have a patent, and whether or not they, like they've done the work of protecting the business from competitors, etc. But I would say that was the only sort of thing that I thought was missing for the video, was like a bit more branding. So whether it's the color scheme, or like the logo showing up, or like you know, like just make it so that if I see another video, I know it's you again. Um, or if I see it on some shelf in a store, the color scheme, like the logo, whatever it is, the positioning, will I'll say, oh, I've seen this. I know what this is. Um, just versus like something more generic. That's the only thing I would say. But I thought the video was excellent. I really do think it works well, and they're gonna do very well.